Okay, in lesson 11, we're actually looking at multi-step word problems. And while it is important to find out the exact answer, I want you really to focus on the drawings, tape drawings, to try to identify what is the missing questions that you have to solve sometimes in order to solve what they're asking. Okay, and the first one says A+ Auto Body is painting designs on the customer's car. They had 18 pints of blue paint on hand. They used half of it for the flames and a third of it for the sparks. They need 7 3/4 pints of blue paint to paint the next design. How many more pints of blue paint will they need to buy? Let's start off by doing a tape diagram so we can organize the information. Now it says they started off with 18 pints of blue paint. So there's our 18 pints. And it says they used half of it for the flames. The flames. Then it says they used 1/3 for sparks. And the next thing says they need 7 3/4 pint to paint the next design. Okay, well, I'm going to have to draw a separate tape diagram over here for the next design. Okay, because it said they need 7 3/4 pints. And it says how many more paints do they need? So this here would represent what is left. So over here, I'm going to put what was left. And then this here would be what I need to buy. So there's our hidden question. Our hidden question is we have to find out how much is left right here before I can find out how much more we need to buy. Now, in order to find out what we have here, I need to find out how many pints are in these two, and the half and the thirds. We do that as 1/2 of 18. And 1/2 of 18 is the same as saying 1/2 times 18. And if you think about 1/2 of 18 is 9. Okay, well, let's prove it. We have 1 times 18 over 2, and which equals 18 over 2. With 2 will go into 2 one time, 2 goes in 18 9 times, so that equals 9. So 9 quarts. We proved it. And this one here says 1/3 of 18, which is also 1/3 times 18. And yeah, I know 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6. So I know 1/3 of 18 is 6, but let's prove it. 18 over 3. And I know 3 going to 3 one time, 3 going to 18 6 times. So it equals 6. So this one here is 6. Now I know the total of these have to be 18. So I have 18 minus 9 minus 6. That's going to tell me what is left. So 18 minus 9 is 9, minus 6 equals 3. So we have 3 quarts left. So I'm going to transfer that over to here now, 3 quarts. Now it says they need 7 3/4 quarts, and they have 3 quarts, so we can see we're going to need 4 3/4 quarts. Now let's go back and check to make sure. How many more pints of paint do they need to buy? Well, I don't think I can buy 3/4 of a quart. So I would actually need to buy BUY 5 quarts in order to have enough, because they don't sell 3/4 of a quart. Question 3. Giovanni, France, and their dad had each carried a 10-pound bag of soil into the backyard. After putting soil in the first flower bed, Giovanni's bag was 3/4 full. France's bag was 2/5 full, and their dad's was 3/4 full. How many pounds of soil did they put in the first flower bed altogether? Now, one like this, I like to do 3 tape diagrams. I'm going to do one for each person to make it simpler. And I'm going to put just G here instead of spelling the same thing out. Francis and their dad. Now Giovanni, and it said each one of them carried 10 pounds. Okay, so Giovanni's was 5/8 full. 5/8, and that was full. So that means if it's 5/8, in order to be a full bag, that means he had to use 3/8, because 5/8 plus 3/8 would be 8/8. So this is what he used. So now in order to find out how many pounds, because it's saying how many pounds, I would have to do 10 pounds, or let's do it this way, 3/8 of 10 pounds, which equals 3/8 times 10, which equals 3 times 10 over 8, which equals 30 over 8, which now tells us we're going to take 30 and divide it by 8. 8 will go into 30 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Oop, let's try that 3 times. That should have been 24. And that's going to leave us with 6 pounds. So 3 and 6/8 pounds. So we can come over here and we know that he put 3 and 6/8. I'm not going to simplify it or anything because I don't know where I'm going to end up as far as having to add fractions yet. And for that matter, I could have kept it at 30/8 also. Okay, let's try Francis. We know it's 10, and as far as Francis, he had 2/5 full. That means he used 3/5. This was full, and this is used. So once again, we go 3/5 times 10, which equals 30/5. And let's leave this one like that. So now we got 30/5 pounds. And the last one, Dad's was 3/4 full. That means 1/4 was used. So 10 times 1/4 equals 10/4. So here's 10/4. All right, now since they want to know how many pounds, we can go ahead and convert this if we like. 30 divided by 5 is 6, so we know that's 6 pounds. 10 divided by 4 is going to be 2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8 and 2/4. Now we can add this up to find out what the total is. 3 and 6 is 9, 2 is 11. And we have 6/8 and 2/4. So that's plus 6/8 plus 2/4. So that's 11 plus. Now I want to change these so I can add them. They have to have the same common denominator. Now I know I can change 4 into 8s, and I can do that by multiplying by 2. 2 over 2 times 2 over 4, which now is going to give us 11 plus 6/8 plus 4/8, which now will give us 11 and 10/8. Not 18s, 8s. Now I know 8 can go into 10 one time, so now I got 11 plus 1 and 2/8, which equals 12 and 2/8. Now 12 and 2/8, that can be simplified. We could divide it by 2 over 2, and that'd be 12. 2 go to 2 one time, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 12 1/4 pounds was what was used. Mr. Chan made 252 cookies for an annual 5th grade bake sale. They sold 3/4 of them, and 3 nights of the remaining cookies were given to PTA members. Mr. Chan allowed 12 students to divide the cookies that were left equally. How many cookies will each student get? Now this one here, I'd probably draw two tape diagrams. First thing we're going to do is we can show that Mr. Chan made 252 cookies. He says 3/4 were sold. And then these, which are 1/4 of the cookies, are what were left after they're sold. Now, if I take the cookies that were left here, which I don't know how many that is, and it says that 3/9 of these cookies were given to PTA. These remaining cookies, which we don't know how much they are, were split evenly between 12 students. Now, so the first thing I need to do is find out what 1/4 of 252 is. So 252, or 1/4 of 252 equals, which is the same as saying 1/4 times 252, which equals 252 divided by 4. Now, let's go ahead and do a quick 252 divided by 4. 4 goes into 25 6 times, because that's 24. Leaves us 12. 4 we're going to 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. So, this would be 63 cookies. So now we know up here this is 63. Now, if this was 3/9 were given to PTA, that means 6/9 were split equally. So now we have 6/9 of 63, which means 6/9 times 63, which equals 6 times 63 over 9. Now, I'm going to do some elimination here. I can see that 3 will go into 6 2 times. 3 will go into 9 3 times. Okay? Now, I can also come over here and go, oh, wait a minute, I still have multiples after I've eliminated that. Because 3 would go into this 3 one time. 3 would go into 63 21 times. Now I have 2 times 21 over 1, which equals 42. So, this is now a known of 42 cookies. But now we got to split them equally between 12 students. So I got 42 divided by 12. And I like doing elimination, so I'm going to say I'm going to go with 2's. 2 will go into 12 6 times. 2 will go into 42 21 times. So now I've got 21 divided by 6. 6 will go into 21 2 times, 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. Leaves us 3. So it'll be 3 and 3/6. Which we know 3/6 is equal to 1/2, so it'll be 3 and 1/2 cookies each. So each one of the student helpers got 3 1/2 cookies. The last one says, using the tape diagram below, create a story problem about a farm. Your story must include a fraction. Okay, so we can see what we have. We have a total of 105 something. And this here is going to be 3/5, and it wants us to solve for that. Okay, so a story problem could be anything like a farmer had 105 chicken eggs. A fox stole 2/5 of his eggs. How many eggs does he have left? So as you can see with the problem I've done, the 2/5 here is what we stole. The 3/5 is what he has left. So 105 times 3/5. I'll be right there. I'll finish the problem. Okay? Which equals 105 times 3 over 5. Now 5 will go into 5 one time. 5 will go into here 21 times. So that equals 63 eggs. So he has 63 eggs left.